Someone welcome all one more time here on your wonderful evening show with Sankofa with your host Maponga J, our guest Gisumba Bwasa, all the way from Congo, discussing the greater expanse of the genocides that happened during the days of Leopold, and if this genocide have stopped or they are still in continuation. How has that history affected the Congolese people? Again, I made myself a nice little thinking tool over the past 2 days. What is the history of Congo? Where are we now? And where are we going? So we're going to have a 3-segmented show today, and I want the Elder Bwasa to take us through the greater history of Congo from the onset, like uncut. And I know there's some aspirations. We could be talking to the next president of Congo right here in the studio as he is gathering his guns together to see if he can run for that election in that country. But I'll leave that to you for the later part of the show. But let's go directly into the history of Congo. On the next segment, I want us to look at now what is happening in Congo. And then the last part of the show, where do you think Congo must be going as they're going forward? Over to you, Elder Bwasa. It's your lecture today. I promised you the last time you give us a full lecture, uncut, on the genocide of Leopold and how the Benin Conference, which we call the Benin Conference, was actually not the Benin Conference, it was actually the Congo Conference, because the prize, the biggest prize, was not over any other country. The conversation was around who will be owning Congo. So that one is settled in, and I want you to take your time, Prof. Today, I'll be a student. I'll be asking you very little questions. I'll just be poking in holes here and there as we are going along. And he's all the way from Congo. His father died and was assassinated together with Patrice Lumumba. Some of you might know the greater history of Congo. And his father was a right-hand man to Patrice Lumumba, and he passed away. And when his mother was giving birth to him at the side of the river, she delivered him. Boom, when he came out, then she said to the boy, Gisumba, Gisumba, Mavu. And she died. The aunties picked up the small little boy and brought him up. There he is today, a few years later, brought up by his aunties. The mother died, running away from the greater genocide after the death of Patrice Lumumba. You love history. Here is a testimony of what that genocide in the greater part of Congo has brought to us. Welcome to the show.
Njabonga Baba Maponga.
It's the third time, huh? It's the third time today, huh? I've heard you twice already. Today is the third time. Yeah?
Third time, yeah.
Yes.
And you repeated it the way our brothers in Nigeria say. How many times have I repeated this? Well, what to say about the Congo, the great Congo? In fact, when we speak about the Congo, it is very important that we mention that Congo is the umbilical cord of Akebulam continent.
Embo. That is the root of Embo.
Yeah.
All the kingdoms of the south, when they mention where they come from, they say Embo.
Embo.
And Embo is Congo.
Exactly. And Congo is that basin that goes around Cameroon, Gabon, Angola, Tanzania, Kenya,
Uganda,
and then including the Rwanda, Urundi, and Urundi.
We say Burundi. It must be Urundi.
Urundi, Rwanda,
Urundi,
Uganda.
What does Urundi mean?
Well, never made any research about it.
It sounds very interesting.
Yes.
Urundi.
But I think there are Urundi people as well that are there, that exist. But to go straight to the point regarding Congo, the basin of Congo, there's a country that has got 2,345,000 square meters. Which is actually the second largest country
in Africa.
It used to be third, but after the split of Sudan, it has become the second. But I would also say it's not the second, it would be the first, because when you look at
if you marry Urundi, Uganda, Cameroon, and Congo right now, and parts of it actually become the biggest.
Yeah, and also the fact that Algeria is the first, but Algeria is covered by the greatest part by the deserts. So, but while Congo, and what is important, it's not a desert. Congo, in terms of its wealth, and that is the reason for which at that so-called Berlin conference, as you rightly put it, the Congo conference.
Congo conference.
The Congo conference, that's how Otto von Bismarck called it. The Congo conference. So it is this country, this beautiful country.
Your motherland.
My motherland. All green, from east to west, from north to south.
Equator.
The equator.
The equator cuts through Congo.
Raining every single day when some other countries are looking for a rain, a drop of rain.
Every day.
Every single day it rains in the Congo.
In the afternoon.
Whether it is in the morning, at dawn, afternoon, at night.
You have rain every day of the year.
Every single day. People might be surprised that we are on the equator line, but at the same time we have the snow.
In Congo.
There is snow in the Congo on the Rwenzori mountain. Rwenzori mountain.
Rwenzori mountain is actually overlooking into the greater Lake Victoria, where actually you find the umbilical cord of the river Nile, where the great Nile that waters the entire North Africa from Uganda into Sudan, into Ethiopia, and greater Egypt actually starts off from Rwenzori mountain.
Well, from the Semiliki river, little stream that is there, and that's where Sir Livingstone was hiding, and Stanley, whom we're going to touch a little bit later on, went to look for, while searching Sir Livingstone. Dr. Livingstone, I suppose that was the saying. And he says, here I am. But Dr. Livingstone refused to return to Great Britain, and he preferred to stay in that lively place called Congo.
Looking at the snow of Rwenzori.
Of Rwenzori.
Wow. Because it's Rwenzori, it's Sese Island, down there in Georgia, where actually have Lake Victoria and the great fountain. Of the great River Nile.
Yeah, so that's Congo. So you see there's the snow, there's the rain.
And there's the heat.
There's the heat, there are the gorillas, and there are all these animals.
The Serengeti. It's part of Congo.
That you cannot find anywhere else in the world. The okapi. Okapi. Once upon a time in the 90s, the Americans took that animals and went with it to America, where they had built a fake place where it could survive, but it didn't. It all died because the okapi, for it to survive, needs its ecosystem. I've mentioned this name twice already on this platform, which means the flora and the fauna that the okapi needs was only created in the Congo. So this is on the aspect of the fauna and the flora. That is the wealth of the Congo. When we speak about malaria, I'm going to touch about colonization a little bit earlier on, but it's to show the importance of Congo within the scramble of so-called Africa, but how do we partition Congo so that each and every single stakeholder at that round table in Berlin get a piece from the 15th November until the 26th February.
So you cut a piece for Uganda, you cut a piece for Kenya, you cut a piece for Cameroon, which was all part of the Greater Congo.
The Greater Congo. So then, so you have all these wealth in terms of fauna and flora, and then you have the minerals. As I was speaking behind the curtain and asking somebody, where did King Solomon hid his wealth? It is supposedly known that King Solomon hid his wealth in the Congo. So where there's a volcano, and it is hidden there because, again, when they mention the Bible, there's a passage that says where fire and water meet. And it is in that.
They did a movie actually on Congo, where actually they were looking for that, they were actually searching for the gold of King Solomon's mines. And they show a bunch of these tourists running around from Black Mount Kilimanjaro into the jungles of Congo, and they meet there some baboons that were very intelligent and what, but actually goes to confirm that actually the storyline and that fairy tale, or if it could be a biblical story or in the narrative of King Solomon's mines, actually they were out in Congo.
Well, that's why they speak about King Leopold's ghost. Well, so let's come to the table now, to the round table in 1884.
The Congo Conference.
The Congo Conference.
1884.
1884. The 15th November, they gather there. And who convened the meeting? It is Otto von Bismarck. He convened the meeting because the French and the British could not agree who would take control of this partition of Africa, first of all, because Congo will come on board at a later stage. So, remember there was a fight between the British and the French for Egypt. We need to mention that. And part of the Canal de Suez,
Suez Canal.
The Suez Canal was normally to be built by the French, but upon an agreement. So Egypt, then you have the western side of Africa, where you have Senegal, you have Ivory Coast with the cocoa, and you have Nigeria, and so on and so forth. So for them, this was already taken. You have Congo-Brazzaville, Congo-Brazzaville, which should have been part of the Congo, the Great Congo, but because Savourien de Brazza, the French explorer, went and planted the flag on the other side of the river. That's why it is the Brazzaville and the French Congo. Then Sir Morton Stanley, who was hired, commissioned by King Leopold II, made his trip to find Livingstone. He found Livingstone and returned to England and spoke about what he saw in the Congo. But the British were not interested
in Congo.
So that's why he turned to King Leopold II.
They were interested in the southern part, southern
Zimbabwe, Rhodesia, Malawi, South Africa.
Yeah.
So they were not interested by the Congo story. Henceforth, he sold his service to King Leopold II. And King Leopold II sent him with the second exploration, where he discovered many more riches of the Congo, wealth. So he will turn the third exploration into a scientific exploration, whereabout they will come and try to see which minerals are in which part. There's a map about it. When he returned to Belgium, he actually delivered his speech, and King Leopold II decided to bring now an exploration, his missionary, and it is unfortunate I left the letter that he wrote to the missionary to come and civilize Congo.
And I've seen it.
And I often ask myself, how do you come and civilize one of the most ancient civilizations on earth?
Arrogance.
That was the Congo Kingdom, which in actual fact, already in the 15th century, sent the first ambassador to Roma, Alfonso I. Nevertheless, he basically he was interested, and they were all interested in wealth and trade and commercial projects
the Greater Congo.
In the Greater Congo and in Africa. That's where Congo, instead of being named, the name of a country was conceived and called at that time Terra Nullius.
Terra Nullius.
Terra Nullius.
A place of no ownership.
Nobody owns that country.
A place of no masters.
There are no masters in the Congo.
No owners.
No owners. And within the conference, while they're signing their decrees, their treaties, they will actually leave Congo with no names. It was called the International Association of the Congo. Before it became, because in history they only start the history of the Congo by independent state of the Congo. No. Before it became the independent state of the Congo, it was the International Association of the Congo. Meaning that anybody...
No man's land.
No man's land. Until today.
Just go there, do your business, get what you can, and get out.
Yes, and give the royalties for the king.
The King of Belgium.
Of Belgium.
To date.
Until today, that's the same.
The King of Belgium still stands to benefit from the businesses happening.
The family of the King of Belgium of that time still benefit. Multinationals and corporations are still benefiting. Henceforth, because of the industrialization of that time, King Leopold II started cutting hands, shopping actually.
When you come back after the break, let's just begin to pick up some stories here on the great genocide of what happened in Congo and how brutal these savages, they call them kings, particularly King Leopold, and the amount of damage that he caused the Congolese people. Don't go away. Here in studio is Professor Bwasa Gisumba, all the way from Congo.
Hello. The fourth industrial technology era has forcefully changed how every profession has been working for its clients. The world has become smaller than what we used to think. Imagine the ease of talking to a person who is in Australia, China, or Germany while you are in South Africa, as if you're just next door. The ease that globalization and the fourth industrial technology have brought to humanity entail doing business anywhere in the world as long as you have the purpose and the means. It is our expertise as MB Chabangu Incorporated to advise clients immigrating to South Africa on various permits and on opportunities for travelers who intend to sojourn in South Africa for a longer period of time.
Ayé náà ti kéré ju èyí tí a rò lọ. Nítorí náà ìmọ̀ wa ní ìsìlọ̀ àti òfin àgbáyé ṣe wá ní ọ́fíìsì àkókò lórí àwọn ìṣòwò ilé àti ìgbaniláyé láti gba ìwé ìrìnnà fún iṣẹ́ okòwò.
Ho MB Chabangu Incorporated re ba eletsi dinotari le basebedisi le di ofisi tsa rena kwa Pretoria, Johannesburg le Bloemfontein. MB Chabangu Incorporated e humanega ga bonolo go bareki ba rena. Go humana tlhagiso leseding ka botlalo re kgopela le re leletše mogala go 012 341 4187 goba le re ngwalele lengwalo tsebile go admin@chabangu.co.za. MB Chabangu Incorporated, mo mathata a humanago tharollo.
Tech Talk brought to you by Tamani Technologies and Systems. Tamani Technologies and Systems takes leadership in fourth industrial revolution. The whole world is facing a transformation. The revolution will be developed into the following stages: digitization, cyber security, Internet of Things, managed services, document management, and business applications. We provide business transformation and ICT solutions with presence in 13 African countries and 2 European countries. We are your leading partner in integrated platform providers, innovation leaders, standalone products, and innovation pace setters. Tamani Technologies and Systems, delivering value across continents.
Welcome back welcome all again here on your program on Sankofa, live from Galaxy Universal Network. And today in studio with us is Gisumba Mavu, all the way from the Republic of Congo, giving us some basic history of what happened in the past. You were still telling us how Leopold was cutting off human beings' hands as trophies.
Yes, and today they still have a trophy, the tooth of Patrice Emery Lumumba, so nothing has changed from the 18th, 19th century to the 20th century and 21st century. So there was...
They are refusing to bring back the tooth. Oh, they brought it back but with nothing in it.
No, they're planning to give it back, but they want to give it back to the family of Patrice Emery Lumumba. But they can't just give the tooth of Patrice Emery Lumumba to the family because he is a myth to not only Congo but to the entire African continent for the liberation that he brought in our consciousness. So let's come back to our history. In French, I would say, revenons à nos moutons. Let's come back to our
If
ship.
you want to put some few French words, please feel free. Feel free.
Let's come back to our ship.
Can I also greet you in French? Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Comment ça va?
Ça va bien.
Comment allez-vous?
Oh, je vais très bien, merci.
Then my French is finished, you know.
We'll get there one day.
Yes.
So